1 week after a painful loss at Kansas, Chris Buescher was even more angry after being shoved out from first place in Sunday's NASCAR Cup race at Darlington. Chris Buescher approached last weekend's NASCAR Cup race at Darlington Raceway, hoping to capitalize on what he learned from his disappointing photo finish loss at Kansas. Buescher came up short in the closest finish in NASCAR history, a last-lap side-by-side fight with Kyle Larson at Kansas Speedway on Sunday. A win would have secured Buescher's spot in the playoffs for the second consecutive season and given him and Ford Performance their first victory of the season. But things couldn't have gone worse for Buescher, as for the second weekend straight, he seems to have been robbed of victory, this time just a couple of minutes before the checkered flag. This left Buescher furious for the second weekend straight, but this time he had someone to blame: Tyler Reddick. Was his anger justified? With 10 laps remaining in Sunday's race, Reddick attempted to pass Buescher for the lead. Reddick dived down the track, hoping to move up in front of Buescher. Buescher touched the wall in turn 3, while attempting to maintain this lead against a charging Tyler Reddick. Instead, they collided, leaving both drivers with flat tires. Both were sent to pit road and eliminated from contention. To add insult to injury, Reddick chose a commitment line violation penalty. Could Reddick have avoided such a stupid mistake? Brad Keselowski, who was racing third at the moment, took the lead and defeated Ty Gibbs. After the race was done, Chris Buescher removed his helmet, hopped out of his vehicle, and headed straight for Tyler Reddick on pit road. Buescher confronted Reddick, shoved him, and screamed, "What was that about?" Reddick, still wearing his helmet, leaned more closely to Buescher, allowing him to hear his garbled speech. "As soon as I knew it wasn't going to work, I tried to back out," Reddick said. It was too late. Reddick was eye to eye with a man who had lost 2 in a row in the last minutes. All he could do was take the hit. Reddick looked at the furious Buescher and said to him, "I know, I effed up. I'm sorry." Reddick explained. After Buescher reminded him the two had always raced clean, Reddick replied, "As soon as I knew that wasn't going to work, I tried to back out and I got the last thing I wanted to do what wreck your car. I can care less about mine. I'm sorry. I effed up. I effed up." Buescher leaned closer, Reddick, and stated, "It doesn't work for me." Buescher stared beyond Reddick to the win sticker above the door of Reddick's car from his Talladega victory last month. "We don't," Buescher said, pointing at the sticker, "have that win sticker on our door right now. You need to be better." Buescher's playoff hopes are jeopardized if he fails to win this season. He ranks 14th in the playoff rankings at the halfway stage of the regular season. Buescher is only 15 points ahead of Bubba Wallace, the first driver outside the playoffs, following Sunday's race. Buescher then pointed at Reddick and remarked, "We've raced each other just fine for so long." He turned and went away. "Sorry, dude," Reddick said. A few seconds later, Reddick stood alongside his car and remarked, "Buescher was going to win that race had I not tried that." Buescher leaned against the wall that separated pit road from the track, trying to accept yet another terrible setback. Buescher lost to Kyle Larson by .001 seconds last week, the closest finish in NASCAR history. Buescher said last week that the finish was bothersome for 2 days. This may take longer to resolve. "This one here, to ruin both our days or something like that," Buescher said, shaking his head. "I'm struggling to understand the reason." Buescher finished in 30th position and is yet to win this season. He fell to 12th in the series standings. Buescher described how excruciating his loss to Kyle Larson at Kansas last week was, revisiting it and coming up with various things he would have done better if given another opportunity. At Darlington, Buescher understood who was to blame. "That's 2 weeks in a row we had a shot to win races," Buescher said. "One, I'm going to relive in my head forever at what I would have done different at Kansas. The other, I need someone else to be more mature about it. We got wrecked. That one's clear as day. Don't need any cameras to tell us," Buescher said, referring to last week's photo finish. "I don't know what to say. We've raced really clean through the years, tried to be really respectful about it, and we get used up. Reddick's move, is just something that you know is not going to work. I'm just pissed off right now. We certainly had a chance to win another one." "Just getting wiped out," Buescher said. "For me, we know it's going to be good, hard racing here, but we hit so hard we wheel hopped into the fence. I don't get it. We've been able to race respectfully for our careers. I try and do that week in and week out, and it's not getting us anywhere right now. To just get wiped out like that with this 5th third bank Mustang, that's a big shame." On the flip side, I'm stoked for Brad and the Six Bunch and RFK to get a win here. That's huge, but right now, selfishly, I'm mad for my team and our group. We had a great day there, and we didn't get any finish to show for it. Buescher said he wasn't sure how it will affect the way he raced Reddick going forward. It's got to come back around at some point, Buescher said. Try to be decent about it. We had clean racing all day long, and to get flat-out fenced like that, there's no excuse. It's a poor decision and an immature move. I just don't get it. Reddick won a stage and led the most laps during Sunday's race, 174. If the race had remained green, he would very likely have completed the pass and won if he had been more patient. I completely understand where he is coming from. He was running the top, running his own race, running his own line to keep me at bay, Reddick said of Buescher. I made a really aggressive move and was hoping I was going to clear him, when I realized I wasn't going to. I tried to check up to not slide up into him, but yeah, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I completely understand why he is that mad. He did nothing wrong, just trying to win the race, and to take myself out, that's one thing. I can live with that, but just disappointed it played out the way that it did, and I took him out of the race as well. That was not the goal there. Reddick stated that the end of the race would have been simpler to accept if he had been the only one to endure the ramifications of the event. If I hit the wall, pop a tire, I take myself out, I can live with that. It's tough to walk away knowing I used someone up and took away their chance of winning the race. That has raced me really cleanly since he came in the Cup Series, he said. Just have to work on that and try to make some better decisions going forward. Brad Keselowski, Buescher's owner at RFK Racing, benefited from the on-track incident with Reddick. Keselowski surged ahead for his first NASCAR win in 3 years. Keselowski understands his driver's dissatisfaction over the last 2 weeks, but does not feel he should alter his racing style or temperament. Just keep being Chris, Keselowski said. Just keep doing what you're doing. But this meant that the long wait is over for Ford, and more importantly, Brad Keselowski. Keselowski won Ford's first race of 2024, as well as his first since joining Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing as co-owner. Keselowski took advantage of that late race collision between the second RFK car of Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick with 10 laps to go, grabbing the lead and holding off Ty Gibbs for his first victory in 110 races, the previous being at Talladega in April 2021. What a heck of a day, Keselowski said. It's Darlington, so whether it's your first win, your last win, this is a really special track. The history of NASCAR, it's as tough as it gets, and that battle at the end with my teammate and Tyler Reddick, we just laid it all out on the line. It was freaking awesome. I thought it couldn't get much better than Kansas. It did today. That was awesome. A hell of a day. I don't know if you could have asked for me. We thought Kansas was exciting. I think this was more exciting. Keselowski said he lost control of the race with 33 laps to go, but he was certain he would catch up to Reddick. I knew that I'd have another shot at it, Keselowski said. My car was really good on the long runs. When Tyler got underneath Chris, I knew I had another shot at it when they made contact. I couldn't get by, and I'm like, ugh. Then they must have got a flat tire, I don't know what happened, and we caught a break. We've caught enough bad breaks over the last year or two, it's nice to catch a good one. What are your thoughts on the ending of the race? Did you enjoy seeing Keselowski take the win in Darlington? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.